Ever, like, when you're scrolling through your phone and you're just like, man, this touchscreen, this is way too smart.
Yeah.
Like, who actually designs this stuff?
Yeah.
You. Maybe. Today, we're going to deep dive into the world of the unsung heroes of the tech world. The ones that take us from, ooh, that's a cool idea, to, I'm holding it in my hand. Electronics drafters.
Yeah, it's amazing. You know, you think about it, they're the bridge, right? Between like pure engineering genius and an actual tangible product.
Right.
So we're really lucky we've got these incredible in-depth guides from RoleCatcher, which, by the way, is a site that's using AI to like level up your job hunting game.
Oh, interesting.
It's really fascinating stuff. And on top of that, we're going to dive into what it actually looks like to be an electronics drafter day to day. Spoiler alert, way more dynamic than you might think.
Okay, so in my head, I'm picturing someone hunched over a computer.
Yeah.
But it's got to be more than just drawing lines all day, right? Like, what's the real deal with what electronics drafters actually do?
Yeah, it's definitely, like you said, more than just digital doodling. So imagine this, right? You've got an engineer, they have this light bulb moment for, let's say, a foldable phone that can also project holograms.
Okay, getting wild.
Wild, right. So the electronics drafters, they're the ones who take that vision, they break it down, they use software like AutoCAD, SolidWorks, those are the big players.
Good.
And they create the super detailed blueprints, the diagrams, everything.
Wow.
They're basically creating the instruction manual for how to build the future.
So they're like the architects of our gadgets, in a way, like making sure every little piece is where it needs to be.
Exactly, exactly. But instead of bricks and mortar, we're talking circuits, capacitors, resistors, you know, all that good stuff. And it's got to be so precise. We're not just talking aesthetics here. This is about understanding like the physics of how electricity flows.
Oh, wow.
How these components interact, making sure it all works as planned, like down to the millimeter. People who can visualize things in 3D, how they connect, that's who thrives in this kind of role.
That's already kind of blowing my mind. We're just getting started. So what about the work-life balance? I mean, is this a sit at your desk under fluorescent lights kind of gig, or is there more to it?
Yeah, good question. And it really isn't a one-size-fits-all situation. I mean, you could be at a cutting-edge tech firm one day, then at a manufacturing plant the next, you know, making sure those designs actually translate to the real world.
Oh, interesting.
And RoleCatcher even highlighted, like, government gigs.
Oh, wow.
Working on communication systems, defense technology. We're talking, like, spy movie stuff.
Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah. So it seems like it'd be a good fit for somebody who really hates routine.
Right. Always on the move, always something new.
Totally. But, and this is important, that fast-paced environment, it means you gotta always be learning.
Makes sense.
Right. Think about it. Like, even the coolest flip phone from back in the day, like 2005, wouldn't cut it now.
For sure not.
Technology changes so fast, and so do the skills you need to design for it. RoleCatcher's really upfront about that. Job security is great, but you got to be ready to level up those skills constantly.
So we're hearing adaptable, lifelong learner. Those are key personality traits here. So besides the obvious needs to be good with technology, what are some absolute must-have skills for someone who wants to be an electronics drafter?
Well, you'd think it's all like math brains, right?
Right.
Which, yeah, it's part of it. Geometry, trig, that's crucial. But RoleCatcher, they highlighted something I didn't expect. Amazing reading comprehension.
Wait, seriously? For drawing circuits?
I know, right? It sounds weird.
Yeah.
But think about it. A lot of the time, you're taking instructions from an engineer, which are already going to be super technical.
Right.
And then you've got to turn all those words into visuals. So you're not just understanding the vocabulary. You're like reading between the lines, anticipating problems, maybe even suggesting improvements. It's almost like translating a foreign language, but instead of words, it's lines and shapes.
It's like they say the devil's in the details. And in this field, those details are everything. Speaking of details, RoleCatcher had this whole section on actually landing that first job. And it wasn't just the usual make your resume look nice stuff. They were talking about internships, hobby projects, even student clubs. What's the deal with that?
It's all about showing, like, you're not just into this for the paycheck. You actually live and breathe this stuff.
Yeah, right.
So yeah, internships are huge for real-world experience. But even if you're just, you know, tinkering in your basement, building your own little gadgets, that tells an employer a lot.
Yeah. It's the difference between somebody who plays music and somebody who lives and breathes it.
Exactly. And student clubs. Those are like networking gold mines. You're going to meet other people who are just as passionate, maybe even some pros who can give you advice, or even, who knows, a job.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. Never underestimate that.
Never underestimate.
Okay, so let's talk portfolios. Because RoleCatcher, they were really hammering that point home. What makes for like a killer portfolio in this line of work?
Okay, so your portfolio is like the ultimate show don't tell, right?
Right.
Yeah. Anybody can say they're good at something, but when you can actually show it, that's where it's at. So we're talking your best technical drawings, schematics, maybe even some 3D models if you've dabbled in that. And in this day and age, online portfolio is non-negotiable.
Right. Make it easy for people to see your work.
Exactly.
Yeah.
No more of that like, oh, I've got a binder full of stuff.
Right, exactly, yeah.
I can dig it out.
I'll mail it to you.
Exactly.
It's like you're giving them a peek inside how your brain works.
Exactly.
This is how I think. This is how I approach a problem.
And this is the magic I can bring to your team.
There you go, yeah. Speaking of teams, let's shift gears a little bit. Talk about, like, career progression. Because RoleCatcher had these 3 main stages, junior, intermediate, senior. Seems pretty standard, but what does that actually look like to, like, climb that ladder?
Okay, so yeah, it's more than just how many years you've been doing it.
Yeah.
It's about what you can duo. So you start as a junior drafter. You're probably assisting on some more straightforward projects, learning the ropes, somebody's got you under their wing.
Right, you've got a mentor, hopefully.
Exactly. Then you move up to intermediate, you're getting more responsibility. You might even be leading smaller projects, tackling some more complex designs. And then you hit that senior drafter level. You're basically,
The Yoda. Yeah.
the Yoda of circuit boards.
Yeah.
You're leading teams. You're overseeing the really big stuff. You've got that deep well of knowledge. People respect you. You're mentoring the juniors.
That's awesome. Okay, so there's definitely room to grow in this career.
Yeah.
But there's this, like, big kind of scary thing looming out there.
Yeah.
AI.
Right.
Is it coming for the electronics drafter's job?
That's what's so cool about RoleCatcher, though. They're not pretending AI isn't a thing. They're showing you how to use it.
Okay, interesting.
Like, imagine having a tool that looks at job descriptions and tells you exactly what those hiring algorithms are looking for. That's what they're doing, using AI to give you an advantage.
So instead of fighting the robots, you're, like, making friends with them.
Exactly. It's all about working smarter, not harder. They've got free resources, obviously, but their paid plans, those give you even more. Like personalized feedback on your resume, tips for nailing those interview questions, all powered by AI.
It's like having a career coach in your pocket that's available 24/7.
Right. And who doesn't love that?
Exactly. So for our listener who's now like electronics drafting, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
What's the biggest takeaway from all of this? It's like, this is a field that is not slowing down.
Nope.
But if you've got the skills and the right tools, sounds like there's a lot of opportunity out there.
Absolutely. And it's not enough to just know the tech anymore. You got to know how to navigate that whole job hunt process, too.
What?
Which, honestly, can be kind of its own beast.
Yeah, no kidding.
But that's what's so great about a resource like RoleCatcher. They give you that knowledge. They give you the tools to build a career that lasts. And that's about you taking control, being proactive.
I love that, empowering yourself. And speaking of empowering, I know you always like to end these deep dives with a little something to think about. So what have you got for our listeners today?
Okay, so you're listening to this and you're thinking, electronics, gadgets, I want to get into that world. Here's my question for you. If you were designing a device, any device, what problem would it solve?
Ooh, I like that. It makes you think about those everyday things, the struggles people face, and how maybe just a little bit of tech could change things.
Right. And who knows, maybe this deep dive is going to spark the next big thing.
I love it.
What starts as a what if turns into a world-changing invention.
From, that's annoying, to I designed the solution.
That's what it's all about. That mix of like knowing your stuff, but also being creative, having that passion to make things better.
Love it. Well, to our listeners, we hope you enjoyed this deep dive into the world of electronics drafting. Remember, this is a career path for the curious, the adaptable, the ones who want to take those ideas in their heads and bring them to life.
So keep exploring, keep learning, and hey, maybe someday we'll be doing a deep dive on your invention.
That's right. Until next time.
See you later.